Hey everybody, welcome to Nat Daddy's Weekly Roundup. This is the January 26th episode. Forget to do that every time, look up to date. Um, let's jump into the new books we want to look at this week. Not a huge list this week. I got about 11 or so books I pulled aside after reading all the books that did come out this week. So I got 11 aside here. I thought would be interesting or have something to point out about them. Before we go into that, let's jump into some of our sponsors here. I'd like to thank 204 Comics. It's a local Winnipeg comic book store. It's where I get all my great books from. They have an online store as well too. Got some amazing, great back issues you can find on there. So check them out as well. That's also where I do the FOC and the pull list from as well too. And we'll go over those in a little while as well. So, like I said, that's where we'd like to jump into our sponsors. Also, we have ourselves as well over at the Nat Daddy Collectibles website, natdaddycollectibles.com. We got the Nat Daddy exclusives here. Josie and the Pussycats being the latest ones there, the anniversary issue and that. But do check that out as well too. Take a moment to join the Facebook or Instagram or YouTube subscribers as well, because every little bit helps. All right, guys, let's jump into our books this week. Like I said, not a whole lot of books this week, but I do think I got 11 pretty good ones that you guys would want to check out. First off, let's start off with Star Wars Thrawn Alliances from Marvel. This is an adaptation of the novel that came out probably at least 10 years ago, if not more, quite a long time ago. I had read the novel many, many years ago, but had forgotten most about it. So reading this was a good reminder in that. And it'll tie in well for everybody who has been watching anything kind of Star Wars related on Disney Plus and that lately too. So pretty fun book there. Has all our familiar Star Wars characters in there, like Darth Vader and Skywalker and that, and of course um, Admiral Thrawn as well. So good book to check out there. I believe there's 3 in that series. From Mad Cave Studios, we have the second issue of Skeeters. Our friend Kelly Williams does do the art there. This is a gory horror novel, kind of like in the idea of The Blob or Arachnophobia or Slither. This is basically about these giant, gross, mosquito-like monsters that are taking over a town and eating up everybody. And now they're starting to mutate and convert people into these like horrific mutant uh, horrific body shaped monsters as well too. So lots of fun going on there if you're a schlocky horror fan, and a pretty gory comic book as well too. But this is probably my pick of the week. Actually, I enjoyed this book so much. So I know a lot of people are. Lots of good fun. From Blood Moon Comics, we have a one shot called Savage Pulp. This is a book that takes place in the future, or at least the near future, where the world is as it is. Climate warming and climate environmental disasters are going on, so that's killing off people. This guy lives in the city. He's just an average guy trying to survive, and it ends up starting. It not doesn't really him start it, but it seems to be where the story focuses on here of him starting kind of like this alien invasion as well too. So much like that Skeeters one we just saw previously, this is a book about kind of like these alien monsters attacking a big city and taking over the world and that. So seeing this guy try to survive his way through it. So lots of fun there too. Neither one is meant for kids, that's for sure. From Marvel Comics, we have the 3rd issue of the new Punisher series. Again, this isn't Frank Castle. This is a totally brand new Punisher who has he's a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, has a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. tech that he's been using that he stole from all these different safe houses. And he's still doing the same idea as the Punisher, though, like going around and wiping out criminals and that. And he does have a similar backstory where his family was wiped out by evil guys because of what he does, him being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. So in this story here, you see him. He is on the run from this new villain called Fearmaster. It's actually the daughter of Mr. Fear, the guy that uses the fear toxin, kind of like a Marvel's version of the Scarecrow. but she doesn't use it as a gas form. Over the years, she's refined her father's formula and turned it into like a serum that actually flows through her veins. So she very much looks like this big kind of cobra monster. And yeah, so she's after him. He's been dosed with the fear chemicals, and now he's trying to get through his greatest nightmares to overcome this assassin lady. It's basically like a Scarecrow and Batman story we've seen a lot of times. But again, I do kind of like this new Punisher character. Also from Marvel, we have issue one of a 3-issue limited series of Power Pack Into the Storm. We got some of the we got Louise Simonson back on it, one of the original writers, and again, it takes place back in the original times where when Power Pack was young, before their powers were all known by their parents and that, and they're having an adventure with Franklin Richards, who has had one of those premonition dreams and involving them and being hurt and aliens and that. So a typical Power Pack story made to feel like it was done back in the time. And like I said in a lot of other episodes, Marvel's done that a lot in the last couple of years where they've taken characters and kind of thrown them back into original storylines when they were more popular. We've seen it done with Spider-Man and Wolverine and Cable and Deadpool. So Power Pack as well now. From Dynamite, they've been killing it with all their Disney properties, and this one is a spin-off from Darkwing Duck. It's Justice Ducks, so it's a collaboration of all the other characters that Darkwing Ducks has used as not sidekicks, but characters in his adventures. Morgana, the magician lady, and then you got Neptuna, which is like the underwater person. I forget what his name is, Stedman or Stedmuffin or something like that. The dinosaur guy and Gizmo Duck, and they form their own super team called the Justice Ducks. So Darkwing Duck will show up there occasionally, but it'll be just them working together as a team to solve crimes, and it's fun. It's just like a cartoon you would see from Darkwing Duck, featuring all these characters. Great artwork, lots of fun. This one could definitely be shared with the family and the kids. From Image Comics, we have a huge 64-page issue from their imprint called Ghost Machine. The title itself is Ghost Machine, and it's one of those kind of big kind of preview anthologies that starts introducing all these new characters that will be part of this Ghost Machine imprint. That's going to kind of be their own universe. We already have Geiger on the cover there, who we're already familiar with. The fellow next to him in the red coat is apparently called Redcoat. He's like this immortal character that's been around since the Civil War. Another character in the middle there is called from a series called Rook. So you have all these new properties being launched. They seemingly have nothing to do with each other at all. They're all kind of completely different stories. But at the same time, they all do have something together because they're all part of this imprint with something tying them in together in the background. But again, slowly building on that. There's that. There's another property in there called Rockefellers, which kind of take on the Rockefellers, where it's kind of like this secret agent family and that. So it seemed like a lot of fun. I did enjoy all the characters in here and that. Lots of artwork. You got a little bio information in there, kind of like information guide. So neat. Definitely worth the extra pages. Does cost a little bit more than that, but some neat properties in there. I liked it so far. So do check that one out too. A lot of first appearances in there too if you're a collector. From IDW, from their Saturday Morning Adventures line, they have a new chapter in the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So this is the cartoon ones from Dungeons and Dragons. So from the 80s cartoon, they've done a few volumes of this now. But what they've done now, which they started in the last series and how to continue this, they started introducing real Dungeons and Dragons properties. So like Waterdeep and in this one, they start introducing different characters like Drizzt, the Drow in here and that. So that's kind of neat seeing popular characters that we all know from Dungeons and Dragons games and books and movies and that. But first time in this cartoon comic form. So that's a lot of fun. This story takes place with the guys looking for a magical herb to help heal a dungeon master who's slowly deteriorating and losing his powers as well too. So, and they have to team up with Drizzt, the drow there. So, um, lots of fun. I enjoyed it. This one again could be for kids. Lots of nostalgia there too if you're an 80s kid and love that cartoon series. From the Whatnot stuff or Massive, we got Crashdown. This is from the guys that do Comic Tom 101. So Comic Tom and Fire Guy Ryan. They wrote this book with Ben Templesmith doing the art. So it's kind of a space horror. It's about this these people who are traveling to a new world to explore it, to obviously for Earth, other Earthlings to come and rehabilitate it, because obviously the world is dying. So they crash land on it, and it seems to be all water. And as they land on it, this kind of like giant, squid like through like tendrils tear everybody apart, and a few of them wash up on an island. So kind of fun. I liked it. Kind of like Aliens meets Castaway, maybe. So lots of fun there. Definitely gory and definitely not for kids as well too. So I enjoyed that one as well too. I'm sure this one will get a lot of push because it is from, like I said, Comic Tom. From Image, this one is a one shot that's a bit thicker. It is definitely 64 plus pages. So it's about this thicker. So it's a graphic novel. Just a one shot as far as I know. Some great artwork in there. And it's The Colonized, the zombies versus aliens. Kind of the space comedy in the vein of like Mars Attacks. You get these aliens who are on Earth or have traveled to Earth, and they're checking it out and doing their research in that. But the pollution in the air has I won't say disabled their aircraft, but has made all their aircraft machines not work properly, and that glitch in that. So as they're using one of their tractor beams to scan over the land to bring a human aboard to do experiments on, and just the regular alien stuff, and that communicate with them, and that because of the machinery all glitching, and that the tractor beam actually has a different effect than that. And as it's scanning over the ground, it actually goes over a graveyard and pulls up a body, and the glitch in the machine reanimates the body. So now all these graveyard people, all these dead people from the graveyard, these bodies have all been turned into zombies, and it causes the zombie ship to crash. And now the zombies are running around being attacked by, or the aliens are being attacked by the zombies. The humans are attacking the aliens because they think it's an alien attack, and now the zombies are there too. Eventually, they learn to work together to deal with all this, but it's kind of funny. Like I said, kind of has that Mars Attacks feel to it. The colony that this all happens at is a second generation people who are living off grid. So they're kind of suspicious of everything to begin with. They kind of have that militia feel to them already. So you got that going on there as well too. So all three of these things kind of getting together and having a perfect storm of a fight. And so a really funny, like I said, does have that kind of that 50s style kind of art style. Much like Mars Attacks and that. So lots of fun. I could definitely see this being turned into a movie or a small little mini series, TV series, streaming thing. So definitely check that out. Lots of fun there. Not for kids, definitely that one. And finally, last I read was the part 4, and one more issue left in this series is for Marvel is the Spider-Man 2099. There's been one of these a week for the past 4 weeks, so this is the 4th week in I've reviewed this. Again, this one does introduce a new kind of like supernatural horror character into the future, the 2099 universe. This time being Terror. I've forgotten who Terror was. He was a kind of a 90s character that popped up for a little while, and he's this guy that can kind of live forever, but he has to keep replacing his body parts with new new pieces in that that he has to harvest off people. So he's kind of like this good guy slash bad guy in that. So he meets Spider-Man in here, and they have an adventure in that, and he'll definitely be around in the rest of that building of that new 2099 universe as well. So one more issue in this series. I've really enjoyed it a lot. If you're a fan of Spider-Man 2099, definitely keep checking these out. Yeah, even if you're not familiar with it, but say you're familiar with like Batman Beyond, this is kind of definitely like a Spider-Man version of it. So you could check that out. I'm sure you would like it. One more book to go in this series. It's going to be the introduction of the Man Thing 2099. So the future version of Man Thing. So lots of fun there. All right. One more thing before we go. Just wanted to go over the FOC for this week. Got a nice short and sweet episode for you guys here. Books that we need to be aware of for the FOC this week is for on your February 21st books. All your Image books need to be in there, including a second print of Cobra Commander #1, because that was such a great read last week. And a big anniversary issue of Spawn 350. So there's lots of variants for this one. So make sure you use your pull list there to get the ones that you want. You got Black Mask books, your Boom books, Ablaze, Dynamite, Elvira meets H.P. Lovecraft. We have one of those already set aside for us. Archie Comics has the Jaguar one-shots. Like I said, they're expanding on that Archie superhero universe. And your DC books. For February 28th, you got Opus Comics, and you got The Offspring, Let the Bad Times Roll #1. Like I said, with Opus Comics there, they've been working with lots of music bands and music properties and doing comics with that. The 28th also has Marvel and Vault. March 13th, you got your Dark Horse and your Marvel, just the Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #1 only, because that's a special order for that book. So get those into your LCS by Saturday so that you can guarantee to get your copies of those books that you want. Otherwise, we will see you guys again next week for a new episode of this. Enjoy. Have a good weekend.